So most people are capable of getting everything they want. They just give up too soon. They see that it's taking longer than they expect. Maybe they had to invest more time, more money. Maybe they're giving their all and they're not getting the results they want. And then they allow that feeling to turn into discouragement. This is the thing I need you to understand. You don't ever want to get to a place of being discouraged, because when you're discouraged, you literally forfeit everything you say you wanted to accomplish. Because when you're discouraged, your mood changes. You start to lose confidence in your ability to get what it is you say you want to accomplish. And so just this week alone, I was rejected 4 or 5 times, right? I had some proposals out there. A couple of them came back, well, they can't afford my fee, or they went in another direction, or, all of this was happening. And then my mother-in-law was sick and rushed to the hospital. And I had so many things happening at one time that I had to remind myself that, listen, you get to have this life. You get to have this experience. You were built for this. I had to remind myself, you got those rejections because, one, you were in action. Just like you get the yeses because you were in action. So don't allow this experience to dim your light. Don't allow this experience to steal your joy. As I was just praying for my mother-in-law, I realized she's gonna be okay, and she is okay. She made it home yesterday. What I need you to understand is that when you get anxious, when you allow your thoughts to take over, when you allow yourself to fall into that downward spiral, that's when things get out of hand. What I want to challenge you to do is recognize it. When you find oh my goodness, you're starting to worry, you're starting to create all of these negative stories in your head, negative narratives in your head. Woe is me, why is this always happening? This isn't fair, life isn't fair, da 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 da. I need you to stop it. I need you to just pause for a moment. You need to get grounded. You can't make a sound decision when you're in a highly emotional state, right? And so that's what I had to do. And sometimes you gotta just cry. You just gotta let it out, break down, whatever you need to do. But then you gotta bring yourself back together and say, okay, this has happened. What's next? What do I need to do next? What is my next best step? For me, it's always to reframe my perception of the situation. My next step is always to reframe, because most times your immediate thought is negative. And so for me, it's all okay, let's rethink this. Let's first understand that you're safe. Understand that you can only control what you can control. Understand that this one thing happened, but you still have a good life. I remind myself of all of the blessings that I have, my husband, my children, my business, the fact that I get to do what I love to do. I have to reframe, and then I have to say, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something better, right? And so you have to remind yourself of who you are. Remind yourself of your previous victories. Remind yourself of all of the times that you've gone through something challenging, something difficult, something traumatic, but you're still here. You got to remind yourself, I am an overcomer. I have to remind myself that I am an overcomer. I've overcome physical abuse, emotional abuse, poverty, depression, suicidal ideation, a suicide attempt, multiple miscarriages. When I think through everything that I've gone through, everything that I have overcome, I am an overcomer. This is not something I read in a book. This is not something that AI generated for me. This is my life. And I recognize that I have the power to bounce back. It may take a day, 2 days, a week, a month, or whatever it's going to take, but I have the power to bounce back. And so whenever you're encountering something that is very difficult, the first thing you got to do is recognize, call out, and stop the downward spiral. Do not allow yourself to get into discouragement. You need to reframe your perception, remind yourself of who you are, and then I want you to decide to choose calm in the midst of chaos. Just because things are happening all around you, you don't have to participate in that. That doesn't have to be your reality. Find that calm. Find that whatever that is that can bring you back to the reality that you're gonna be okay. May not be this moment, may not even be today, but reminding yourself, making sure that you have hope, that you have faith, that you have the belief that everything is going to eventually work out for your greater good. Even if something negative happens, something positive is going to spin off from that, because that is how life works. Like, I can remember being laid off and feeling those emotions and then turning around and getting a contract that was better than the job that I lost. Right? That's just one example, but this has happened to me so many times. So sometimes we look at that disruption and we see it in a negative light, but I need you to reframe. I need you to think, wow, God must have something huge in store for me. Wow, what is he working on for me? Because this has been a challenging season. And I've recognized too that every time I go through something extremely challenging, extremely difficult, like I have a huge breakthrough, like something that I've been wanting, desiring, striving for, praying for, always happens after I go through that season of pruning. And so I want you to understand that even though it might feel like disruption is negative, it's not negative. Even though it might feel like everything is falling apart, things are not falling apart. Things are shifting in your favor. And I need you to use that reframe. You might even need to say that to yourself. Things are shifting in my favor. They're not falling apart. Everything is coming together for my greater good. Listen, it's your time. It's your turn. Let's go.